thinking about this video that DanaGarrett made. It was in response to one of my videos, and he was talking about drawing conclusions about drawing conclusions based on a person's motivation, what you assume a person's reasons are for doing a certain thing or saying a certain thing, and drawing your conclusions about their statement based on your assumption of their motivation. Well, it was interesting. One of the things that I found interesting was this last bit where he started talking about it in relation to danger. He suggested that not doing that, or not having the ability to do that at the very least, might be dangerous. I'm trying to think what that might mean and what kind of implications there are for that. I mean, I'm trying to be as kind of literal and as dogmatic about it as possible, because that's how I start really. But the simplest way I can think into that one is I'm kind of imagining myself walking down a lane, like an alley perhaps, an alley in a town or a city, late at night, 11:30. It's dark, the pubs have shut, and coming the other way are three young men, quite big, and they're all carrying baseball bats. What do I do? What conclusion do I draw? What motivation do I assume they have for being in that place at that time with those objects, and what do I do as a result? I think it's probably fair to say that I would just turn around and run, because I would make an assumption that their motivation was probably nefarious. They were carrying those baseball bats as weapons, and I'd better get out of there. And that seems like a perfectly reasonable thing to do. Reasonable, but not necessarily rational. I've drawn a conclusion because I had to, but I could easily be wrong. You know what I mean? It could be they've just come out of a night class where they're learning carpentry, and this week was where they learned the lathe, and they've all lathed these baseball bat shaped objects. Could even have been a night game of baseball. Could be something simple as that. Or maybe it's, I don't know, Toys R Us has opened late and they bought their kids presents. But given the situation, given the need for me to behave in as safe a way as possible, I would probably draw the conclusion that they were up to no good. And that makes perfect sense. I think in dangerous situation, drawing conclusions as closely to around oneself as possible, maintaining your comfort zone by drawing those conclusions in front of them, it makes perfect sense. I think most of the time it doesn't though. I really do. Because those situations are very few and far between. I can't remember the last time I was in such danger that I had to draw a conclusion pretty quickly. There's lots of political situations in which those circumstances are kind of artificially induced. I mean, certainly remember in the lead up to the Iraq War, the Blair government seemed to be desperate to induce in us a feeling as if we were in back alleys being, approached by burly men with baseball bats. I mean, I think it was the Hatton report. Was it the Hatton report? Anyway, the report into weapons of mass destruction was full of the language of, they could bomb us in 45 minutes. It was like, you better draw a conclusion quick. Draw a conclusion quick. And we can even help you draw that conclusion. Here's some evidence for you. It was that kind of a thing. A desire to rush to judgment, to jump to that conclusion, rather than to do anything else. Similar things kind of happened after 9/11, and again after the 772 bombings in London. Those again, when governments wanted to take certain actions, they put certain fear responses in place for us, made us feel as if we're in back alleys, and relied on us to draw conclusions in a fairly swift way. Oh yeah, hello. Very nice down here today on the canal. Anyway, this thing about conclusions, I mean, drawing conclusions is coming to an end, isn't it? I mean, that's kind of what it means. A conclusion is an end. You think and think and think and think and act and act and act and do stuff and investigate and find evidence and make little manoeuvres and be creative, and you do stuff and you do stuff. And at a certain point, you draw a conclusion, which means you stop doing those things. And then you go and do something else. You know, you stop acquiring more evidence, you stop researching, you stop sending in weapons inspectors, you stop doing all those kinds of things. And instead of doing that, you draw a line in the sand and designate who the enemy is. That's what happens when you draw a conclusion. Oh dear me. Hold on. Seems to me those are very few and far between, those circumstances when we should be doing that. And I can't think of a time at all on YouTube we should be doing that, should we? I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm just being deluded here, but YouTube seems like one of the safest environments I've ever been in my life. You know, you can never hurt me. I mean, you know, there's nothing you can do to hurt me. If you're watching this, I don't know how far away you are, but, you know, you certainly can't hurt me. So I've no reason to draw a conclusion about what you think over there on your side of the screen, because I'm in no hurry to stop doing what I'm doing. I'm in no hurry to draw conclusions. No hurry to stop gathering evidence and probing and making stuff of my own and putting one foot forward into this piece of space and another foot forward into this piece of space. And I'm not in a hurry to draw a line and decide not to proceed in any particular direction. That seems like it's the one big benefit really of your online environment, as opposed to back alleys in dangerous cities. There's no back alleys in dangerous cities in YouTube. It's just not like that, is it? Everywhere is brightly lit and everywhere is the middle of the day and there's thousands of people around, and you're probably wearing a flak jacket. Well, it's not dangerous.